It has been around 3 months since the Big Five Investment Innovation Challenge finals. At Ento Tech Innovation, we are using insects to convert organic waste into fertilizer and feed for livestock and aquaculture. Currently, we are trying to optimize the feed quality that we give the insects so that we can also influence the quality of fertilizer and feed we want to send to the market. The goal is to provide fertilizer and feed at a reasonable and affordable cost for our farmers. So once we are done with this process and we can get the final product patented and then basically use the $30,000 that we already won to scale productivity using the formula we're getting from the lab. I am Mohamed Sanu. I'm a Sierra Leonean, originally born in Bo, where I went to school and I raised, and I went to Njala University. 2019, I was thinking about how I can provide alternative fertilizer for my country, but then I failed. So having this dream in mind, I had the opportunity to travel to Europe and then advance my master's in plant health in sustainable cropping system, where I now specialize in insects as food, fertilizer, and biological control. So most of my friends called me, some people say I'm crazy, some say I'm a developer, and some say I'm analytical. So basically, it's about solving problems. Trying to contribute towards the growth and development of my country that inspired me to think otherwise. When I was in Europe studying, I saw the government of this country published a policy paper trying to feed this nation. So after the 1 year of implementation of that policy, and I realized that there were some gaps. Production has increased, but yields of our production is still low, and the government is still struggling to get access to feed for livestock and aquaculture. And by extension, the Mayor of Freetown City Council is also struggling to manage municipal waste. So as an entomologist, I was inspired as a young person, heading to the call of the President for national contribution towards that agenda. I came back to this country just after my master's and started this innovation. My innovation focused on using a specific insect we call the black soldier fly. And we are using that insect and we are feeding the insect with organic waste to generate high quality fertilizer. And we've started testing it on paper, you can see, and also feed for livestock and aquaculture. So basically, when we get the waste, we ferment the waste, we feed the waste to the insects for 10 to 12 days and then we harvest them. So you see, so depending on how we are combining the waste and the source of the waste will determine the size of the insect. So in general, basically, what we are looking at, it's like a 3-component, a 3-in-1 circular bioeconomic solution. Firstly, we want to get the waste from the municipality of Freetown. Secondly, we want to use this waste to feed the insects to generate fertilizer and feed for livestock and aquaculture. In this way, we're able to support the government's feed Big Five and specifically the feed salon, and not just the government feed salon, but to ensure that we start growing what we can feed this nation. One of the biggest challenges we faced, for example, because this is our pilot facility, we had was attracting the insects at the beginning. It was a bit challenging, but thanks to Professor Olapade from Njala University, who was also working on the same insects, who gave us really some kind of support from where we started, and then we've been able to reach at this peak. Also, technical aspect was a bit challenging. Of course, I studied insects in Europe, but I was more focusing on how we can apply them as biological control. So it was a bit challenging to identify the waste stream, the ones that can better contribute towards the growth and development of the insect. Starting is always challenging, honestly. So those are the key things I think we are really challenging. Finance, I can't say it's a challenge. I know when the solution is there, the finance will also come. So when we tried and we got a prototype, we got the product, we are thinking about how can we get the attention of the government or stakeholders to know about what really we are doing. And then one morning, I met with the manager of Colenten Radio, who shared with me the adverts at the Big Five Investment Innovation Challenge. And when we went through, it was so fun actually, and I was like, yeah, we are going to win this thing. He said, are you serious? I said, yes, because I know I've read the Big Five and specifically the feed salon, and I know exactly that the government is struggling with fertilizer. I know exactly that there is currently no sustainable solution in terms of feed. So me bringing this on board and giving it that kind of investment future falls like, it's like the government is looking to see me. So that was what we told the manager. So we are really inspired from scratch. We had like 100% confident that we are going to win the competition because we knew we brought a solution that the government wanted at that moment and the people of Sierra Leone wanted, honestly. So what we are struggling with, how can we put the idea so that people can find it really interesting and fall in love with it? So there comes in the advantage of the boot camp. So they took us towards the boot camp, and then we were able to increase our knowledge about how we can do presentation, and based on that we were able to like tailor our presentation to make it really like fun and interesting to the people. So the entire process for us was, like I told you, inspiring. We were determined, and we saw each and every opportunity given to us within this process to grab, because we knew we had the winning. But what we lacked was how we can present the idea and make it attractive to people, and which, I mean, all of the processes put together helped us. But what again we can maybe share with people, when we were in the boot camp, we kept our eyes open, like looking at what others we are doing to see our competitive edge. So we did not like, we are like, we want the training, but we also want to see what our competitors we are doing and to see how we can like position ourselves to be an outstanding candidate. And I'm sure those who watch the finals, you know, I still get feedback. They said it's one of the best pitches they've listened to ever. So, I mean, we really, really appreciate it. It was like we coming, I mean, me leaving Europe and coming back to this country and having a solution that the people of the country and the government itself welcoming it. I think it's a dream. We know it is like very challenging to get fertilizer imported in this country, which is delaying productivity. So we want to ensure that with the prize money, we scale up our productivity so that we'll ensure the fertilizer is available at all time to the farmers. And we also like keeping our eyes on the cost, because $30,000 is coming from the taxpayers' money. The farmer in that village who is farming, it's also contributing towards this particular money. So we have to keep it to a price that is less, like reasonable compared to the ones in the market, so that also it can offset that cost on the farmers, because we want to see sustainability. Farmers should be able to buy the products, farmers should be able to apply the products. So in the next 5 years, we want to see how best we can cover at least 50% of the fertilizer demand in this country. What is even interesting is the fact that we've extended our network. I was in the United States a few weeks ago with the Mandela Washington Fellowship at Purdue University, where I've met with other professors who have confirmed with me additional benefit the fertilizer is doing. So we want to explore that to see how best we can like maximize, you know, all the opportunities we have to make this product available to the farmers. With $30,000 and specifically with the equity funding coming in, we are hopeful that in the next 5 years, 50% of at least the fertilizer demand in this country should be locally sourced. I've been in the field with farmers, and I know exactly the context and the reality behind what they are facing, the challenge they are facing. So it's easier for me to come back to the lab, to redesign, to meet the expectation of the farmers. So in summary, every entrepreneur should have a fingerprint. But to have a very strong fingerprint, your background, your experience, and your passion should be inconsistent with the idea you are pushing to the market. And then don't forget your social skills. Connect with the right people at the right time. And that helps you to move the idea to another level.